Would you get a collarbone tattoo? According to my client, it wasn't that bad. Let's check it out. So, if you were to get a collarbone tattoo, what would you get? Comment below, even if you already have one. If you do, let me know how your experience was. This was a pretty challenging piece because the collarbone area has variations of skin depth with differing anatomical curvatures. So it's not as straightforward as maybe someone's back or thigh would be. Naturally, I found myself in some pretty tough scenarios on trying to pull evenly saturated and consistent lines, but I pushed through regardless and was extremely happy to see my client smile at the end of it all. I am very grateful to have the opportunity to put this name on my client since it's very important to her. Before we get any further, I wanted to thank everyone who's been tuning into these videos and for those who like and subscribe. It truly means a lot to me and pushes me to keep producing and evolving my videos. So if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and leave me a fire emoji to let me know you're a real person. I received some feedback from my last video, and there was a request that maybe I add some insight into why I even got into tattooing in the first place, as well as delving into my history that led up to it all. I like this idea, so I will shed some light into this. I've been drawing off and on throughout my life, ever since I was born and raised in Southern California. I was never really serious about my artwork, and I usually just drew as a form of therapy or remedy to boredom. At 20 years old, I enlisted in the Navy and was sent off to boot camp in Illinois, and eventually I was stationed in Rhode Island. I didn't really get serious about my artwork until I was deploying to Afghanistan in 2009, and people started asking me to design drawings and tattoos for them. At that point in time, I still didn't have any tattoos of my own, nor had an interest in them at all, but I thought it was pretty awesome that people took a liking to what I had to offer. I used to have people tell me, "You're in the wrong field," a lot when they would look at my sketchbook, but I am my own worst critic and I never took those types of comments seriously. I was in healthcare for 15 years, including all the time I was in the Navy. I did my time as a surgical technologist, helping the surgeons out during surgery, and then went into managing sterile processing departments for the remainder of my career. Once all the COVID stuff happened, I ended up getting out of the healthcare profession altogether and started to ponder on the idea of working for myself for once. This was when I started wondering what field I should get into and thought about my artwork. I knew I didn't want to be an artist who produced paintings or sell stuff on Etsy or anything like that, and not saying that isn't a good route to take or anything, just not something I was interested in pursuing personally. So I thought about other avenues I could take with my artwork. By this time, I had already had 3 tattoos on my body and started to think about pursuing tattooing and how that would look like. I quickly started researching and watching videos on all the fundamentals of getting started. I even pursued a tattoo school the VA paid for me to attend. I bought all the supplies and practiced my techniques safely and aseptically. I became obsessed immediately and went through many sheets of fake skin to practice the fundamentals of pulling lines, shading, and stenciling. I grew a huge respect for the art of tattooing during this process since it's not as easy as some people may think. And eventually, when working on skin, it can be even more challenging, especially if you are just used to working on fake skin. They are completely different mediums, and humans have differing variables of skin thickness and curvatures that can add a lot of challenges during the process. Anyway, that is pretty much how I got into tattooing. Once I started practicing on myself, others started noticing and expressing an interest. My sister-in-law believed in me and allowed me to tattoo her, and the same thing with my wife. Eventually, I got to a point where I started gaining clients and continue to obtain more and more until this day, so I'm very grateful for the experiences and my growth. I still have a lot to learn, but I think I'm on the right track now. For those who are curious, the name my client is getting tattooed on her is the name of her daughter. I always enjoy tattooing pieces that represent something so special to my clients. I have 4 children of my own, so I can easily see motivation to wanting to celebrate a child in this fashion. I'm so grateful she trusted in me to tattoo something so meaningful on her, and I'm looking forward to the healed outcome.